One win away from closing out the Nets, but wow, round one has been a soap opera if your name is Joel Embiid. Let's go back 9 days to game one between the Sixers and Nets. It's in Philly. Brooklyn shocked him at home. Embiid put up big numbers, but went just 5 of 15 from the field. Embiid for game two was a game-time decision. He did go, but he played through. He was hurting, the lingering tendonitis in his left knee. The big man finished with 23 points in just 21 minutes and was whistled for a flagrant one for throwing an elbow at Jarrett Allen. To see what he thought about that by his expression there. They were without him for game three when the series shifted to Brooklyn. Game-time decision not to play him, but Ben Simmons really stepped up in his absence, totaling 31 points and 9 assists while being very efficient, 11 of 13 from the field in a 16-point victory. So Simmons looked good then. Embiid back in the lineup for game four Saturday, and boy, did he make his presence felt. 31, 16, and 7, and yes, another flagrant foul on Jarrett Allen. You see that ugliness, the scuffle that ensued, which led to ejections by Butler and Jared Dudley. Listen to Embiid today. He still disagrees with the call.
I don't even know if it was even a foul.
Dudley and Simmons into the stands. There was another shot from Embiid to Allen, and Dudley didn't like it and got in there.
You're now dangerous in place for a suspension. You have to be more careful to guard against that possibility.
No.
You realize some people are going to try to come at you now, knowing that you don't care.
The other night with the fight, I felt like he took my game to another level.
Look at Embiid! Like a runaway freight train puts it down.
Playoff is fun, and I'm enjoying it.
All right, let's go over the rules here for flagrant fouls in the playoffs. Embiid has 2 foul points, flagrant foul points. That puts him halfway to an automatic 1-game suspension, which kicks in when a player does reach the 4 flagrant foul points in the postseason. Got to keep an eye on this if Philly advances to the next round, assuming they do, because the total does not reset. Remember head coach Brett Brown, a longtime Spurs assistant? Today he told the media what he shared with his team about the importance of maintaining composure.
I told this group candidly, I sat on a bench in San Antonio when Robert Horry hip-checked Nash into the stands and Amari and Boris walked on a court, and we weren't beating them. I think they were winning the NBA championship. We remember, Draymond stepping over LeBron, and, they were up 3-1 and they lost the series. It's not holding your breath. They're reminders that I owe my players as the coach to have them be adults, be big boys and navigate through this. It's not our fault at times we're, 20 pounds heavy and 3 inches tall. So in the meantime, we got to just be smarter. And that's my job.
Yes, smarter. Speaking of smart, Tim Legler is here now. So you heard Embiid, you saw the rule, then you hear Brett Brown. How worried should this team be? If you're a Sixers fan, are you worried that Embiid's going to get baited again into this?
I actually think they're doing him a disservice by even talking about it as much as they are. It hasn't been a problem for him. I think he has shown great restraint. Particularly when it comes into getting into physical altercations with players. He walks away from most of those. Most of the fouls he commits when he's going for a hard block at the rim, he, for the most part, he's walking away with that with just a hard foul and guys shooting 2 free throws. I think now, maybe there's so much talk about this, is he a little bit more reluctant to make a play on a guy at the rim on a drive? That's what you worry about. You don't want him to lose his aggressiveness because this is a game-changing defensive player. So I think all this attention may actually make him more subdued than anything else, and that ultimately could affect the back line of their defense. But I'm not worried about him keeping his cool.
Okay, so assuming he keeps his cool, and you're right about that, and then assuming the knee holds up, how far as a team do you expect Philly to be able to go?
Well, to me, they've changed now from a team that going into the postseason, I didn't think had any shot whatsoever to win the Eastern Conference. The way they looked over the last 3 weeks of the season, they just told me they weren't ready.
Right.
They have shown me some things in this series, particularly Ben Simmons, I think now finally recognizing opportunities when he can attack and score, and then taking advantage of those and understanding how important it is for his team when he attacks at the rim and finishes as a scorer. Sometimes he premeditates being a playmaker. Tobias Harris has snapped out of it. He looks like now the stage is appropriate for him. That first game, everybody in Philadelphia is a little bit worried. Then obviously the big difference maker here. There's only one of these in the entire league, a guy that can score from all over the floor. So Philadelphia has shown me a lot through 4 games in this series that now they're a legitimate threat to Milwaukee, Toronto, and then obviously you've got the Boston Celtics waiting there as well. What a second round it's going to be. If these 3 teams win their next game, 16-2 for those top 4 teams. That's going to be their record going into the second round, and that's what we expected all along.
That's what we can't wait for. Sixers, by the way, this might be hard to believe, but they haven't gotten past the conference semis since the last year they went to the finals 2001. Legs back later to rank the Eastern Conference. This was the scene about a half an hour ago. Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks, one win away from their first playoff series win since 2001. Legs back to talk about that too.
Sage, coming up, the Thunder on the verge of their third straight first-round exit. Adrian Wojnarowski tells us how it could shake up the future in Oklahoma City. Also, if Kyler Murray doesn't go nuts.
Look who decided to come back to work. Wake up. Randy and Nicole on your TV. Welcome back.
It was a battle. Yeah, this is as tan as I get. A battle for your TV last night, right? Playoff basketball, hockey, thrones.
Yeah, the things we do for love.
We'll get to that in just a moment. Get you caught up on everything you missed. Starting with the drama, though, at OKC, which is, that's not Winterfell, but, man, the Thunder are in danger of falling if they don't fix this thing. It's Game 4. They're at home, and that is where Dame Lillard and company, man, on the road in the playoffs, they lost 8 straight. Westbrook. 4-point lead, make it 7. Bottoms. He was 0 for 3 in the paint. It was a bit of a weird night for him, but scoring outside, finished with 14 points. It's not going to cut it, not when Lillard was doing this in the first half. Jumper. He admittedly said, it was his first field goal of last night, he said it was a little quiet in the first half for him, but he would stay hot, pump fake. Bottoms there, the 3 was working, and then if you knock a few down, they have to double you up. You kick out to Al-Farouq Aminu. 8 dimes for Dame. Blazers went on an 11-0 run to end the half, 4-point lead into the break. And then Dame time is the third quarter now. It's not fourth quarter. He pulled up from Chickasha. He pulled up from Duncan. Maybe Altus, I don't know, knocked that down. Big birds fly. He said, I didn't feel the need to get very aggressive in the first half, but then in the third, I felt like that was the time where we needed to hit the gas. Lillard, 14 of 21 on threes from 26 feet or farther this postseason. That's the most in the NBA. He was hot, he stayed hot, and he stayed defensive and turned it into offense. I'll take that. Sometimes all the talking you need is just to dunk and not say anything. Lillard, another jumper. He scored a combined 40 points in the third quarter over the last 2 games, 16 points in all other quarters. He had 15 in the third on Sunday. Now in the fourth, Paul George driving in. It's C.J. McCollum. So 24 points for Lillard, 27 for C.J., his 7th straight playoff game with at least 20. And the Blazers win going away, 111-98. Now they go back home for Game 5. Here's C.J.
We got swept last year. It was really embarrassing, and everybody talked about it. It was on TV every day. I went on TV and they talked about us getting swept. We talked about me getting traded. Talked about, how we can't win together, all that stuff. We remember it, and we understand that feeling of going home early.
I get deep pain anytime I want, but I always make the right play. So when I'm in deep pain, I find guys on the perimeter, hit Steve-O. I got to do my job is to make sure the guys get the basketball. I mean, I don't need to shoot a layup every single time, but I'm in the paint all game. So that's how it goes sometimes. Shot attempts is not the only thing that I can do to make sure I'm in the tee for the defense and kick out for open shots.
All right, how's this for next level plus minus? The Trailblazers outscored the Thunder by 23 when Lillard and McCollum shared the court on Sunday. For the series, that duo is plus 42. Together, they're minus 16 when their minutes are staggered or they're both off. Thunder shooting issues continuing. They shot 38%, worst in the series, and according to Second Spectrum, they've shot 30% in the first 5 seconds of the shot clock. That's the worst by any team this postseason. And Russell Westbrook has been a big problem. 0 for 7 in the second half, scored just the 1 point. It's the worst shooting half of his postseason career. He's 3 for 12 in his last 15 playoff games.
Game 4 between the Warriors and the Clippers. Warriors up 2-1. One in L.A. Klay Thompson. Haven't seen much of him in terms of production. Oh, but he heard me. First quarter, knocking down the fadeaway. There was a lot. He said throttle engaged. He actually said that. That's not just like some cheesy movie quote. Thompson had 6 combined first quarter points in the first 3 games of the series. 17 points in Game 4. 6 seconds left in the second quarter. Warriors only up 4. Kevin Durant. Little distance on that one and 1. So you have Durant, you got Thompson. They combined for 46 points in the first half, the most in a playoff half together as teammates. 10.5 minutes left. Warriors up 1. Thompson drawing a lot of attention. It doesn't matter. 3 over 2 as in humans. Got it. He finished with 32 points. Klay was like, look, we let up. We know that Houston has a 3-0 series lead, and we let up when we lost. That's not going to happen the rest of the way in the playoffs. Warriors slowly building a lead, working together. Durant Look, Andre Iguodala, he had 10 points. Warriors up 8. Not pictured in this highlight, Steph Curry. Well, he was kind of there, but not actually. He only had 12 points. They didn't need him. Kevin Durant at 33, one more than Clay. Game 5 is Wednesday in Oakland.
We went to the beach, played some volleyball. I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna go jump in the ocean. I just know that will reset my mind, and it worked. So I don't know if I'm gonna jump up north because it's freezing, but something I'll definitely contemplate if I don't shoot the ball that well the rest of the year. But hopefully that doesn't happen.
It's at home cooking. I know the Pacific Ocean is undefeated. Yeah, I think he got his feet wet yesterday. Walked in the hotel with a wet T-shirt, with the shades on, and typical Clay type of vibe. And I just had a smile on my face when I saw him, because I knew what that meant. So it's nice for him to show out like he did, and we needed every bit of it for sure.
Clay Thompson is a delight.
The Pacific Ocean is defeated.
Clay is in a slump. You know he's going to break out of it in a big way. Because think about this. He'd gone 8 straight games with fewer than 20 points, the longest streak of this season, and then it ended with 32 against the Clippers. The first 7 games of the regular season, the question was, what's wrong with Clay? And then against the Bulls, the answer was absolutely nothing. He scored 52 and dropped a then NBA record 14 threes in the game. And then he won 6 more games with fewer than 20 in December. 32 against the Blazers, busted him out of that one. Perhaps the best highlight of the morning, Raptors Magic. Raptors Magic series. Toronto up 2-1. First quarter, Raptors up 1. Fred VanVleet down low, called for 3 seconds in the lane, so you get a 3-second violation, and then you get 13 seconds of Nick Nurse face. 13 full seconds of that.
Put a clock on it.
Which, let's be honest, there were a few moments in Game of Thrones last night where I was doing sort of the exact same thing.
Oh, I know.
But 13 seconds, Nick Nurse face.
Are you?
Kawhi Leonard gives us Nick Nurse face. Yeah, what was that? Third quarter, Raptors up 17. And then Kyle Lowry, little dish to Leonard. There we go. 13 seconds more. Kawhi shot 60%, scored 34 in his points in 35 minutes. 2 blocks, 2 steals. Raptors actually shot 53%, franchise record for a road playoff game. Yeah, I thought the same thing too, Nick. Like, same exact thing.
Tormund?
Yeah. Raptors go on to win it. They're up 3-1 in a 7-game series for the first time in franchise history. Give me the Nick Nurse face.
Were you aware that you were trending for your reaction to the 3-second call in the first quarter?
I wasn't aware of that. Is that a good thing? Is trending a good thing? Oh, it is? Okay.
We got into work this morning, and every single trending topic in the United States was Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And so I've seen it.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Which is probably why I'm a little tired this morning.
Right, a little bit. But there were a couple moments, like you said, where it's...
Which one got you the most?
Let's try it. So the one where Tormund is telling the story of his last name. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think we need glasses to celebrate. For Boston, huge day. Celtics and Indy trying to sweep the Pacers. Bruins in Toronto trying to force a Game 7 with the Maple Leafs. And the Red Sox in St. Pete trying to sweep a series against the first-place Rays.
So where do you live, by the way?
Outside Boston.
All right, so this is the Celtics and the Pacers. This is like 3:17 p.m. Celtics are up 8 in the fourth. Watch Jason Tatum. Darren Collison loses the ball. Kyrie Irving keeps it alive. First of all, the pass behind the back, and then Tatum. 18 points, 2 hands, got to be safe. Nice pass. Irving's teams are now 16-0 all-time in the first round of the playoffs. That is a sweep of the Pacers. 110-106, and that'll end it. We're going to go with it ended 3:30. All right, cue the music. Give me some half-hour headlines. Living and dying by the jumper. That's what they've got in the Oklahoman this morning.
Yeah, there are bad shooting performances. There are terrible shooting performances.
What are you saying?
And then there's what the Thunder did yesterday against the Blazers, which is worse than terrible. We'll start with the bad. That's OKC. 38% for the game. Their worst shooting percentage in the series. Russell Westbrook has been a big part of that. 0 for 7 in the second half. Scored just a point in his worst shooting half of his playoff career. Portland, here's the good. 24 from Dame Lillard, 27 from CJ McCollum. Blazers take a 3-1 lead. Paul George asked postgame, what do you have to fix?
What's the area you like to improve the most?
Points. score more points.
Yeah.
The Thunder have never come back from that series deficit. 0 for 12 in franchise history, being down 3-1, and shooting's been the issue. Specifically early in the clock, quick shots haven't been good shots for OKC. 30% shooting within the first 5 seconds of the shot clock, including just 13% on three-pointers.
Look, it's not really scoreboard watching if the other team isn't playing, but you sort of get the point because the Warriors are very much aware that Houston is up 3-0 on Utah. Hence, Klay Thompson's little quote after the Warriors win over the Clippers: "We came in with the mindset to put our foot on the throttle and not let go." Klay had a slump-busting 32 points, and he's basically Moana.
We went to the beach, played some volleyball. I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna go jump in the ocean. I just know that will reset my mind, and it worked. So I don't know if I'm gonna jump up north because it's freezing, but something I'll definitely contemplate if I don't shoot the ball that well the rest of the year. But hopefully that doesn't happen.
Sons of Anarchy or Moana?
Oh, the vest.
See the line where the sky meets the sea, it calls me? Pretty good movie. And good stats. According to Second Spectrum, Klay scored his 32 on 44 touches. So it was the 5th time in the last 5 postseasons that Klay has scored at least 30 on fewer than 50 touches. By the way, the rest of the NBA has done that a combined 4 times.